MAGA Republican Nancy Mace got called out to her face live on air on CNN last night, and she got absolutely destroyed for her defense of Donald Trump and his disgusting racist remarks that he's made about VP Kamala Harris. I'd say that this is probably one of the most heated debates I've seen on one of these networks like CNN. Like, these folks were screaming at each other, and rightfully so. Nancy Mace is being completely disrespectful to VP Kamala Harris and defending anything Donald Trump says. You know, she's not a congresswoman. She doesn't see that as her role as someone who's meant to be there to legislate and help the people she represents. Instead, she sees her role as a mouthpiece for Donald Trump and MAGA, and she refuses to even condemn anything Donald Trump says, as you'll see in these clips. So I have two clips to show you. I think that they're both worth a watch. They're both amazing. But the first clip I want to show you is Nancy Mace being called out for purposefully mispronouncing VP Kamala Harris's name, and the gentleman who's doing it is a professor of African American studies. So he knows what he's talking about, and he does so in such an amazing way. So take a look.
Michael.
That sounds like self-hatred and justification of white supremacy. And let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
you are
it.
intending that I am
Your disrespect of Kamala Harris
that
is part and parcel of a
Why
tradition
can't
of disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's
why can't you just?
offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is
You
racist.
are. You absolutely are.
The practice is
Let me get in here.
disrespecting. No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said,
You know
I
what?
didn't know her name.
Disgusting
He's
to
trying
women
to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
White women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women.
25
They
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25 years
and
ago,
respected
I
your
became
humanity.
the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. I
So call her
fought my
name
way
right.
through it.
So pronounce her name
blood,
right.
sweat,
Let
and
me
tears.
actually
So pronounce her name
and
right.
Kamala Harris, if
Kamala,
I were a man,
you said
I
this
will
before.
say
You Nancy
anything that
Mace.
I want.
It's
Come on,
Kamala.
it's
You're
Kamala.
doing this on purpose,
I am
That's
Congresswoman.
disrespectful.
Just a second.
If-
You can't expect people to
If
respect
a
your
man put
service
on
if
a
you don't
skirt and
respect
walked
hers.
that stage 25 years ago, she
You're a
would have
white
said
woman
she would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
Professor
Agreed.
That's
Dyson, let me get in
disgusting.
here because
That's-
I want to
that's
play
disgusting.
one more bit from
Wasn't that fantastic? I mean, she had absolutely no response. And instead of engaging with what Professor Michael Eric Dyson was saying about, hey, you should pronounce her name correctly, there is certainly a history in American history where people will purposefully mispronounce the name of people of color to disrespect them. You should just, pronounce her name correctly. Just show her that basic respect. Instead of engaging with that argument that he's making, Nancy Mace plays the victim card. She says, oh, well, you're calling me a racist. Well, you must be bad because you're calling me a racist. And you're coming after me because I'm a white woman. Like, what? It is so brain-numbingly dumb what she's trying to argue there. People are just simply advocating for people like her and Donald Trump and the rest of Republicans to show Vice President Kamala Harris just enough respect to pronounce her name correctly and not do this disgusting, weird, childish, purposeful mispronouncing of her name. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. Like, we're meant to be adults, right? I mean, it's always the Democrats who are the adults in the room, and the Republicans are still stuck in 6th grade making fun of people for their names. I mean, it's just so gross, and she has to play the victim card. She has to play the victim card instead of engaging. And then she goes into culture wars. She goes into culture wars saying, well, Kamala Harris doesn't even know what a woman is. Please. My God, the Republicans are so tiring with this stuff. They just can never, ever stay on track. They can never talk about the facts and talk about the policy and things that matter. She'll continue to disrespect Kamala Harris, and while simultaneously doing it, she's defending Donald Trump's mispronunciation of her name and also playing into these weird culture wars that Republicans have going on. It's so strange. It's so weird, but that perfectly summarizes the MAGA Republicans. They can never have a serious conversation. People like Nancy Mace refuse to do so. They'll go on CNN and then say, oh, well, everybody's attacking me, so everybody feel bad for me. It's like, oh my God. Incapable of making an argument in rebuttal, can't do it, she won't do it. So, but that clip was fantastic, wasn't it? Really well done by the entire panel, and I love when she purposefully mispronounced her name. They all went, Kamala, her name is Kamala, in an attempt to hopefully get Nancy Mace to adjust her strategy here. But look, aside from that clip, it got much more heated toward the end of their debate, and I think this clip is the best of them all. Nancy Mace was asked about Donald Trump's horrific and really gross remarks at the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists Conference that took place in Chicago, where he said that Kamala Harris turned black. And instead of engaging again with the argument, you know what her response was? She goes, "I hadn't heard him say it." I mean, come on, just take a look at the clip.
I certainly take that, but I'm
And
wondering.
a lot of rich history
I'm
comes
wondering
out of my
about
district in
Trump-
South Carolina that I am
Trump
Say her
deeply
name.
proud of.
With respect.
Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
Yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
He did say it.
Okay, well, as a
He definitely
woman,
said it.
I want
She
to weigh
turned
in.
black, he said. He said she was raised Indian. Now she was Indian, all he knew. Now she
Well,
turned
she's a
black.
mixed race, She's a mixed race.
He said that to the National Association of Black Journalists.
Right.
He went to, and he said at the same event where he said he'd done more for black people than any president in history.
I guess here's the thing.
When he was president, wages for women were better than they've been in a
Congresswoman-
long time. Wages for blacks were better
The
than they've
lowest
been in a
black
long time.
unemployment rate in
He
history.
did.
It
He
happened
did a
under
lot
Joe
of
Biden.
good. He did a lot of
Congresswoman,
good
let me just finish this
for
to both
people
of you.
from all walks of the
This
country.
doesn't take that much courage, honestly, to just say that was out of bounds.
I don't know what he said. I didn't see
He
the
said
interview.
that she
Come on.
turned black. He questioned whether she was really black. I don't think that's that hard to say. That's out of bounds. Can you say that?
I mean, I didn't say it, and I would not
just
say
say
it.
yes.
Is it
Just
wrong?
say yes.
Is it
Just
wrong?
say yes.
I just
Just
Guys,
say yes.
we
Then
are-
they connect that to
we
your
are-
inability to
I'm not-
pronounce her name.
we are
now
out of
it's
time.
it's a very.
We are out of time.
It's a cult. They
It's a
won't say
relationship.
anything that
I'm
goes
not in
against
a
the
cult.
cult.
Are you
Yes, you
kidding
are.
me?
You are a
My
cult
friend,
Are you
member.
kidding
My
me?
friends,
I have
we
a
are
diverse
out of
district.
If you
of
won't
William
speak
Bryan.
out against the
Say
cult
her
member,
name.
you're a
Say
cult.
her
The
name.
cult leader is
Do it
Donald
with
Trump.
Beyonce.
We are out of time
And the
at the
fact
table.
that you talk to
Thank
women
you
this way is ridiculous.
You just
for
talked about a black
being
woman that
here.
way.
Right.
In what
Thank
way?
you for
She
being here
doesn't
at
know
the
what a
table.
woman is.
Thank you for
She doesn't know
watching
what a
at
woman is.
home. No time.
I think the best way to describe what we just saw is a complete and total humiliation. That is someone who has sold their soul to Donald Trump and MAGA. And when she's asked about an objectively disgusting quote, such as Kamala Harris turned black, or suggesting that she's not black, she can't even condemn it. She can't even say it was wrong. She has to pivot and say, well, I didn't hear it. And then even when they're telling her, hey, this is what she says, she goes, well, I didn't hear it. I don't know what he said. They're like, well, no, he said this. And I'll give you the quote. And they go, oh, no, I didn't hear him, so I can't comment on it. And I love what Abby Phillip there, the host of this panel, said, saying like, you know, this doesn't take that much courage, right? You can just say, hey, that was wrong. That was out of bounds, as she described it as. You can just say that was not correct. Right. And Nancy Mace still refuses to do so and goes back to the typical, well, I didn't hear him say it, so I won't comment on it. It is so absurd. And it's such a representation of the MAGA cult, and it's taking place in front of our eyes. Like, we often hear about the MAGA cult when it comes to like, oh, you know, they always vote for Trump's policies, or they'll do his bidding when it comes to being in Congress and things of that nature. But we just saw this on live television of Nancy Mace quite literally doing whatever Donald Trump wants her to do. He has the entire party on a leash where he'll send his crew out to these networks to then argue on his behalf. And the beautiful thing about it is I really think the American people are waking up to that fact. Like, Trump had his cult in a trance. He continues to have them in a trance. And some people voted for Donald Trump and could ignore, you know, the downfalls of Trump, where, you know, him being a cult leader is a pretty big one. But now I think people are kind of waking up and seeing, like, people like Nancy Mace are complete frauds, right? They're not actually in politics to make people's lives better. They're in politics to help Donald Trump and the MAGA cause. And we're like, that was that. We just saw it right there. That is what we just watched. Where I can't even believe what we just saw. Can't even objectively not insult or, you know, to, condemn an insult from Donald Trump. She can't condemn an objectively bad comment. And so much so that she humiliates herself live on air. I hope MAGA is happy, because this is what they're going to be doing for the rest of their lives. Even when Donald Trump loses this election, he's no longer in politics, we hope, right? He hopefully doesn't run again for president. they will still be doing stuff like this. They've sold their souls for eternity. And I just thought that this segment was so amazing and such a great representation of MAGA and why it's so important that they don't take office. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those clips. I certainly did. I'll wrap up the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.